Nani is probably the most unique out of all the marksmen, being radically different than basically every other sniper, yet still somehow deserves to be there, unlike Janet or Maisie. In this video, I'm going to talk about her basics, and then analyze her further, talking about her position as sort of an anti-sniper, her interesting matchups considering her classification, the intricacies of her attack and super, and why she's bad in the current meta despite being so good on paper. If you want a chance to win future Brawl Talk skins, or simply just have fun and a place to talk, join our Discord server. Link will be in the description. Also, make sure to subscribe to keep up with the PowerPoints. First off, let's go over her stats. She has a squishy health of 4800 and a normal movement speed as to be expected of a sniper. But her main attack is where her similarity to snipers end. She shoots 3 different projectiles that move at different angles and converge both at the shortest range of her attack and the longest range of her attack. Each orb deals 1480 damage, so if you hit the convergence, you deal 4440 damage, which is the highest of any sniper, with one of the longest ranges of any sniper, with an 11.67 tile range. Now, her super. This is one of the most unique supers in the game, with Nani controlling a drone, which has increasingly difficult movement controls the longer you control it. It deals 3600 damage on impact, breaks any walls near it, and blows up automatically after 10 seconds. With the basics out of the way, one thing becomes exceedingly clear. Nani is not your traditional sniper beyond a few things like her health and range. I mean, first of all, her main attack. Barring the existence of the wolf in chief's clothing, that's Janet, no other sniper has an attack that isn't just a line. Because of this, her interactions with snipers are significantly altered. Due to the fact she has 3 separate projectiles, it stands to reason her attack is easier to hit. And yeah, on average you're going to hit more shots as a Nani than any other sniper. But you might argue, a lot of your shots won't deal as much damage as the average sniper shot. However, this is where the convergence comes in. The amount of damage it deals is unparalleled by any other sniper. Of course, there is a huge weakness to this attack, which I'll talk about later for dramatic effect. Speaking a little more about her main attack, it actually can go around walls similar to that of Carl's main attack. This is why Nani can do better with more walls than basically every other sniper, as she can aim her attack in such a way that she can shoot you even if you're behind a wall. This isn't always going to be used, but it's still important enough to be worth a mention. Combine all this with her superior range, and Nani is suddenly even better against snipers, being able to both outrange them and outchip them. But that's not all. If they even come close to Nani, they will be absolutely fried. Speaking of that, let's talk about Nani at a close range. The interesting thing about Nani's main attack is that you can control the range you want to hit the shot. If you want, you can have the convergence be at 1 tile, or at the very max range of 11.67. It all depends on the range at which you are fighting. But what does this have to do with close range battles? Well, this means that more often than not, at a very close range, you're going to be hitting the enemy with the full force of your 4400 damage convergent attack. And this is basically why Nani is actually really good at short range. The amount of damage she deals at short range helps her deal with close range brawlers, like assassins or tanks, without having to waste the use of a gadget or super like other marksmen. To make matters even better for Nani, her super exists, and the big damage, but most importantly, the knockback, allows her to effectively deal with close range brawlers in tandem with her main attack. Speaking of her super, let's talk a little more about her super. Her super has multiple uses due to its very unique nature. First of all, the aforementioned short range defense, of course. Second, long range assassination. This is one I see a lot of people struggle with. They often use their Nani super immediately once a round starts, for example in Knockout, when everyone is still at full health. This isn't a great strategy because you're not going to kill anyone with the attack. Instead, your teammate should get someone low and you finish them off with the super. However, there is an exception if you want to get big damage on someone early for your Piper or such to finish off. Third, you can use it for breaking walls. This is more niche, but it can be important for opening up the map, which is good for Nani due to her long range. And the fourth and final use for Nani Super is for throwing for your team. With what I said earlier, you would, not incorrectly, assume Nani Super to be quite powerful. And it is, but there is a really huge drawback. She has to stand still while using it. Because of this, you have to make sure you're in a safe spot while using her super, which unfortunately a lot of people don't do. Overall, Nani has consistently been one of the better snipers, mainly due to her unique status among them. She basically counters all of them, and I didn't even mention one of the biggest reasons she counters them, which I will do shortly. I mean, she does solid against brawlers at a close range as well, and you're not really likely to see many throwers or mid-range brawlers on a map like Shooting Star, unless it's Tick. This is why you often see Nani as a first pick on long-range maps, because it limits your opponent's options by a lot, as picking someone like Piper or Brock into Nani would not be well advised. This works both ways, as Nani can also be a later pick to counter other snipers that have been picked earlier. Overall, she's a pretty flexible pick when it comes to sniper maps. With all I've said so far, you would think Nani was a comfortable S tier brawler. Yet, she's lurking in the depths of the tier list, near the C and D tier currently. But why? Well, it's simple. Nani's main attack, for all the good things I've said about it, is fiendishly difficult to really hit consistently against faster brawlers, and against people who are good at dodging. And in such a fast-paced meta with more and more fast brawlers, more and more hypercharges, Nani is struggling to keep up in this day and age. This is why, despite on paper being the strongest sniper, as well as being on top many times in the past, currently she's one of, if not the weakest marksman right now. And now it's time for her gadgets. Nani's first gadget is Warping Time and teleports her to Peep's current location and ends her super. There isn't much to say about this, as it's pretty useful for things like getting away, getting to the heist safe, or assassination, but not as useful as her other gadget. Nani's second gadget is Return to Sender. This sees her, for the next 2 seconds, reflect 80% of the damage dealt to her by the next damaging shot on her. This is a really good gadget. This is part of the reason why she is so good against snipers. Since they only have a single shot, Nani can get a lot of value out of reflecting their attack. And since snipers have a really low health, this can be devastating in a lot of situations. This gadget is so important for Nani that it deserves a second slide. The gadget is not only important against single shot brawlers, but also at a short range as well. Brawlers who deal a lot of damage at a short range without multiple projectiles, like Kaze, Kenji, Shade, and much more, helping her even more at a short range if her attack and super isn't enough. As a fun fact, Nani's gadget used to last until you got hit, not for only 2 seconds. As you can guess, this was quite broken, and there's a really good reason it got nerfed. Next, her star powers. Nani's first star power is Autofocus, which deals up to 1850 more damage based on the distance traveled. This is a good star power, especially for long-range battles, as you can definitely catch people off guard and one-shot a few snipers with this, which is never a bad thing. Nani's second star power is Tempered Steel, which sees her take 80% less damage while her super is active. This is generally solid, as it could either give her more survivability with the huge shield, or allow her to get away with supering in a vulnerable position. Nani's Hypercharge is Big Peep, which is one of the hypercharges of all time. Basically, it makes Peep big. Yeah, riveting stuff. Is there anything to say about this? I mean, it just makes it easier to hit enemies and offers more damage. Nothing else. And in this era of broken hypercharges, well, Nani's doesn't hold up. Overall, Nani is probably the most unique marksman. It all starts with her main attack, which unlike any other marksman, has multiple projectiles. Because of this, her superior range, her really good damage, and her gadget, she basically hard counters her fellow snipers, has good matchups against short range brawlers, and despite all of that, is one of the most mediocre brawlers in the game right now, due to the current meta and the nature of her main attack. But anyway, thanks for watching. Watch this video, or this playlist, or join the Discord server.